Dear viewers, this is our weekly Expert Speaks program. In this week, I have collected lot of questions asked by you with respect to filing of tax return, and I am asking my expert of the week to answer your queries. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant, but your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Dear viewers, to answer your queries pertaining to income tax filing, I have requested my eminent faculty, Chartered Accountant Royson Anil Sequeira to come to my studios today. Chartered Accountant Royson Anil Sequeira is a young and dynamic Chartered Accountant, has become very popular within a span of few years. He has been a popular personality in the Chartered Accountant circles, a man who has built a community of clients and admiring public for his presentations on television channels. He is a partner at Pramod Krishna & Co. LLP, a man who specializes in GST and income tax. Welcome to the show, Chartered Accountant Mr. Royson Sequeira.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Royson Sequeira, my audience has asked a lot of questions about income tax filing return, who should file returns, when they should file returns, lots and lots of questions. It is very difficult to answer them over the comment section. So, I have collated a lot of their queries. I request you to answer these queries. I will ask you one by one. Please try to answer them and try to simplify what they need to be doing. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Let me put this thing in an order.
Okay.
First question is, what is the criteria to file the income tax return? There is a dilemma in the minds of the person on the other side. Should I file a tax return or not? Let us do the first step. What is the criteria to file the tax return for a person?
Basic income criteria in order to file income tax return, we call slab rate.
Okay.
The slab rate goes like this. If you have income more than 2.5 lakhs and your age is below 60, so 2.5 lakh becomes the first base. So, if you are senior citizen above 60 to 80, then 3 lakh becomes basic slab rate. The next slab is for super senior citizen who are above 80. For them 5 lakh becomes a basic slab rate in order to file your income tax return.
Okay, this is the basic criteria.
Yeah.
If somebody has so much of an income, they have to file tax return. If your total income is less than that particular threshold, you are not required to file the tax return. This is what the law books say.
Yeah, basic
right?
slab return.
Right. Mr. Sequeira, now you told me about the threshold limits available for different age groups. Now, the next question that I have for you is, when arriving at this threshold income, what are the different incomes that need to be added here?
The different sources of income that we have to consider could be income from salary, income from house property, income from business, income from profession, income from capital gains, and income from other sources. All those heads of income should be considered in order to arrive at total income.
So, you have to pool all these things
Yes.
and arrive at a threshold level, right?
Correct.
One question that is there in the minds particularly of NRI communities, now you told while arriving at the threshold limit, there is a age wise bracket up to 60 years, 60 to 80, above 80. In case of NRIs, is it the same system? Are there any discrimination for NRIs?
Yeah. In this case, there is a discrimination for NRIs. So, if you are resident, only then below 60, senior, super senior, age wise slab benefit is available. But for NRIs, the base slab itself is 2.5 lakhs. So, if you have taxable income in India, above 2.5 lakhs, you have to pay tax and you have to discharge the tax.
I must thank Government of India for that, because they consider every NRI to be a very young Indian. Thank you very much, and so we will go with that. So, NRIs do not have a age specific threshold limits. For all NRIs, it is the basic exemption limit of 2.5 lakh is the one what applies.
Yes.
Mr. Sequeira, some people have a peculiar situation. They have got an income, but this is categorized as exempt income. Okay?
Yeah.
If the income that they have is only exempt income, then what happens to threshold slab? Should they take that into account and arrive at the threshold limits? How does the law see this particular issue?
If they have only exempt income, then it won't be part of total income.
Oh, you don't have to take that into account at all.
You don't have to take that into account.
Can you give some examples of exempt income?
Yeah. Now NRIs, they keep NRI FD and they get interest accordingly.
Right.
So, it will be huge sum of money and the interest also will be huge.
Right.
It will run into lakhs. That is not considered for your total income because it is basically exempt in nature.
Okay.
But I have seen many taxpayers, they get confused with regard to exemption as well as deduction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So exempt is where you are not liable to pay any taxes at all.
Yes.
What is deduction?
Yeah. So there is a difference between exemption and deductions. Exemption is something that is not at all the part of your total income.
Right.
Because the basic nature itself is exempt in nature. But deduction is not like that. In one of the videos that I have done prior, we have discussed about housing loan. In that we discussed about interest repayment of the housing loan, principal repayment of the housing loan. This is specifically a deduction.
Okay.
We are using it as a weapon, a ninja tool to make our tax bracket to come down. So this is specifically a deduction which you are eligible to claim only on filing the income tax return.
So you get the right when you file the tax return. You can't assume that, okay, I don't have to pay taxes on that. So deduction is where you recognize that you have an income and a tool is given or a tax provision is given where you can reduce your income by applying this deduction. One of the examples that you gave was a payment of interest against the housing loan or a portion of principal amount up to 1.5 lakh. These are the ones which will come under deduction like ATC benefits or ATD benefits. These are the ones. Exempt is where you are not liable to pay any taxes at all.
The root of the source of income itself is exempt.
Right. So that need not be taken into account while arriving at the threshold level.
Yes.
Right. So to summarize, dear viewers, please see whether you have an income. If that is exempted under the law, you don't need to compute that to arrive at your threshold limits. But if you have an income, but you have to file the tax return and make a claim against certain deductions which are available to you, in such a case, you need to be filing tax return to get that deduction as provided by the tax laws. Mr. Sequeira, sometimes the situation become very peculiar. For some people, they have got an income and they are eligible for certain deductions. When they apply these clauses which are pertaining to deductions and the slab falls below 2.5 lakh. Now what is that they should do? Should they file tax return or they are not required to file tax return? What is the correct process to follow in this case?
As I said, deduction is a tool to reduce your tax liability. It will get your total income down below slab rate, then you need not file tax. But in order to avail this benefit, you have to file the return. Only by telling the return, you are telling the government that, dear government, these are the deductions I have. That is the reason why my income is falling below the slab rate and I don't have to pay any tax slab rate.
Okay.
So if you don't tell the government, then how the government supposed to know? So this is the process that you have to file the income tax return, you have to avail the deductions and then get your total income down. Then you tell the government that I don't have to pay anything. That means filing the return is mandatory.
You have an income, claim the deduction, you must file the tax return. So just because it falls below 2.5 lakh after the deduction does not give you a right not to file the tax return.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Sequeira, are there any situations where the law says you must file tax return irrespective of the threshold limits? Are there any such situations which exist or which are commonly seen during your practicing career? What answer you have for this question?
There are some situations which becomes mandatory in order to file the income tax return. First of all, if you want to claim refund, many of the cases, now let's say you have interest income 60,000 rupees, 70,000 rupees. Then if you have not submitted form 15G, 15H, definitely bank will deduct TDS. If you want to claim TDS amount as refund, then even though income is below slab, you have to file income tax return.
Okay.
There are some mandatory provisions. Let's say TDS amount is deducted is more than 25,000. No matter what, you have to file income tax return. TCS amount is 50,000 or more. You have to file income tax return. You have incurred electricity bill expenses, which is more than 1 lakh. You have to file income tax returns. You have incurred foreign travel expenses, which is 2 lakh or more. Then situation becomes mandatory for you that you have to file income tax return. If your professional gross receipt is more than 10 lakhs, even though income falls below slab rate, then also it will become mandatory that you have to file returns. If my business turnover, business receipt is more than 60 lakh rupees, then also it becomes a mandatory. Let's say I have deposited more than 50 lakh in SBI account. I am dealing in current account for more than 1 crore or more. In all these situations, it becomes mandatory in order to file income tax returns. And sometimes I have seen many of the clients, it's like they will be having salaried income, at the same time they will be dealing with the futures and options, intradays, and they end up making huge losses. So if you want to carry forward such losses, it can be business loss also, it can be house property loss also. If you want to set off and carry forward the loss, then you have to file income tax returns. So these are the situations which becomes mandatory. You have to file income tax return.
So in the minds of the viewers, generally what is there is that if their income is below 2.5 lakh, they are not required to file the tax return.
Correct.
But that is one criteria. But there are a lot of other cases, as you detailed right now, which makes it mandatory for you to file the tax return. Please check all the points stated by Mr. Sequeira. If you fall under any of those categories, or if you have to get some refund back from government on TDS, TCS, or any interest TDS done by your bankers, then you have an obligation to file the tax return. Only under that condition you will get back all this money.
Yes.
Mr. Sequeira, I'll ask you one more question. There are a lot of people, NRIs included, who have got a taxable income below 2.5 lakh. As per the law, they are not required to file the tax return. You have explained that.
Yes.
My question is, are there any specific benefits somebody gets by filing tax return even when their threshold limits are below 2.5 lakh? Are there any specific benefits of filing tax return?
To be very specific on this question, especially with regard to NRIs, if they file the income tax return in spite of their income falling below 2.5 lakhs, that means they are telling the government that I am an NRI.
Okay.
So when I file the return, I have to prove my status. What is your residential status and what is the stay that I have in India? So that is one of the right tool that they have, telling the government that no matter how much money I am making, but I am staying out of India and I am earning not taxable amount. So over there only I am informing the government that I am an NRI. So this is one of the tools that can NRIs use to tell the government that I am an NRI. And secondly, as I told, carry forward the loss. See, even though your income is below slab, tomorrow you can make money. It is not that tomorrow you cannot make money. Definitely you can make money. So your income falls down the slab, file the returns, push the losses to the next year, so that if God wishes you will make better profits next year and adjust to the loss that you made it in the previous year.
Yeah, if you have not filed the tax return, that you have to pay taxes in the year where you made the money.
Exactly.
But carrying forward the losses,
Yeah.
you have a chance to set it off against the future prospect.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that right you will get it only when you file the tax return.
Yes, yes. Okay. The other additional advantage could be, by filing the return every year, you are declaring the source of income. So over the years of filing, there is an accumulated source of income. That can be a strong capital boost by filing the income tax return.
Okay. So there are multiple benefits. So it's always advisable that you file the tax returns. Some TDS is made, TCS is made, or you have incurred some losses, you may just write it off. Instead of that, for as per the provisions, you can carry it forward and square it off against your future profits. There are distinct benefits of filing tax returns even when you have income below the threshold limits of 2.5 lakhs, right?
Yeah.
Dear Mr. Sequeira, you have answered all these common questions that were there in the minds of our audience. Thank you very much on behalf of community of my viewers and on behalf of me for taking time out and coming here all the way. Thank you very much. I keep calling you periodically to answer these tax queries. A big thank you to you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Dear viewers, hope the video that I have done today helped you to answer many of the questions raised by you in the comment section, and the answers have come from the expert himself. If it helped you to understand these finer points of law, please like this video. If you are a person who is watching my channel for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another useful topic in yet another video very, very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.